The only reason I did was because I read it in an Instagram comment, and Damian is not on Instagram, nor is he on Twitter or Facebook. His commitment to a social media-free existence seems to be both a symptom and a product of the other facets of his personality and priority matrix. His days are long. Most of us regular human beings would only be able to sustain Damian's lifestyle for 1 or 2 weeks before collapsing. Sometimes, not often, people ask me where I get all my energy or how I get so much done. These people have not met Damian. As far as I could tell, based on our respective performances at educational institutions, Vincent and Damian both had me beaten in the brains department. Vincent was raised bilingual and is fluent in both French and English, and Damian comes from a family in which both parents and all siblings are different types of doctors. I was a half step behind them at each turn. They both graduated from school with the best possible exit score, which placed them somewhere within the top 3% of their student cohort. It would be fair to say that, by contrast, I nursed a chip on my shoulder right where the graduation cap's tassel irritated. I certainly didn't get the grades to enroll in a law degree straight out of school. What I perceived as their intellectual superiority was one of the reasons I sought their companionship. Conversation was always rich, we laughed a lot, and I learned new things. Fundamentally, I felt myself improved by proximity to them, and I had a rabid drive towards self-improvement. The brain was a muscle that could be stretched and massaged, I believed, and my relationship with Vincent and my friendship with Damian would help coax it into a limber expansion. When I heard Damian had received a Rhodes Scholarship, I took it as confirmation of his superiority, although an academic I spoke to a few months before my 2018 trip to Oxford had serious reservations about my perspective. I had made a careless comment about visiting the smartest people in the world, and this incensed her. Of course, I didn't actually believe there was a smartest anything in the world, I clarified, but at the time I thought her defensiveness was more illuminating than my own hyperbole. What I tried to articulate was this. If you accepted the definitions of smart and successful given to you from years 1 through 12, which were reaffirmed and in fact intensified once you hit university, it was reasonable to conclude that a Rhodes Scholarship was one of a limited number of possible apexes of achievement. If proof of academic capability and this particular type of intellectual rigor could be imagined as a winnowing flowchart on which hundreds of thousands of us start at the bottom, and each year just a few dozen reach the top, wouldn't you like to spend time with someone at the peak? Wasn't it possible a little of that specialness might rub off on you? I had my fingers crossed for a smattering of osmosis. The academic scowled. "It sounds more like a pilgrimage," she said, unimpressed. I smiled. Exactly. Damian was waiting at the station when my train from London pulled in. He was reading at a little aluminium table, his body still while he focused fully on a large book. The day was bright and clear but cold in a bearable October way. "Let me take this," he offered, reaching for the handle of my little red suitcase, saving me the public embarrassment of its wheels banging against the cobblestones as we crossed streets and bridges to get to the centre of the university town. Picturesque was an understatement. Walls and churches and houses and gates, stained glass windows and wrought iron fences, well-kept lawns and nicely dressed folks. We turned a corner and I recognized the alley with the Bridge of Sighs passing overhead. "I'm thinking we get some food," Damian said. "I know a good place for falafels and sandwiches." We sat on the steps of the Radcliffe Camera near the Bodleian Library, eating and catching up. I was glad to have just come from France so that I had interesting things to report. Damian told me he had classes to attend, as well as orchestra rehearsals and rowing training, but between other commitments he would show me around. I assured him I had plenty of reading and some work to do myself, which was true, though it felt insignificant by comparison. After lunch we went to drop my suitcase.